What is up, guys? It's your boy Fix It Daniel, and today we're on the scooter. Today we got some new parts in because we're gonna be doing something different with the scooter that I think will be cool. I think will be better for the scooter. So let us get into it. Guys, welcome to the channel. If you guys have not seen any of my videos or stuff, please go down, like and subscribe, follow me, and give me a thumbs up and like for all my videos that you have seen, not seen, or have seen. But today we are going to be on the scooter. Today we are going to be upgrading the carburetor. So we have a big carburetor on there now. It's giving a lot of power. It's getting us that speed that we want, but the problem is that it is a little over the top of a carburetor. A lot of people in the forum, a lot of people in my comments have told me that it is a little big, but I said, screw it, I don't care. I did it anyway, and it ended up working. Worked out really, really well. Got the power, the speed, everything. But there's only one problem. It's kind of smelling a little bit like raw gas, which is, I knew it was, and I let it go anyway, and I was kind of letting it go, but I'm kind of tired of smelling like gas every time I get off the bike. So, we're going to change up the carburetor. We're going to come down a little bit. We're going to come down to a 24 millimeter nib carburetor instead of a 38 that we got on there right now, which is a little big for that, but it's keeping it lubricated because it's air cooled. It's not liquid cooled, it's air cooled. So, you know, with that extra raw fuel, it does kind of keep everything lubricated from blowing up. So I'd rather it be more rich than lean, because lean, that's when you start getting really problems, and rich can be problems too as well. But I feel like rich it keeps it from destroying it than it would be lean. So, you know, instead of you starving it, you're giving it more fuel. So the only difference is that there is an outcome from that, and that's smelling of the gas. So even though it runs great and gets all the power, you're smelling like gas, or it's smelling like gas when it's done. Normally it doesn't smell like too much like gas, but I know that every time I get off of it, my clothes smell like raw fuel. Fuel and oil. Well, it's not leaking oil at all, but it's just a fuel. So it's just a little bit too rich. Basically, in a nutshell, it's just a little too rich. So we are going to try and change that, and hopefully we'll change it by coming down on a 24 millimeter instead of a 38. We'll keep 38 for another one because there is something interesting that I will tell you towards the end once we get this all done that I'm thinking about doing with it. So stay tuned for that. But now let's see what we got. Alright guys, so right here we have what we need. These are the things that I ordered that I needed, but I've had this for a while. This was my 24 millimeter nib carburetor. As you can see right there, it's 24. Compared to the bike, which I'll go over there and show you because I wanted to do a review on it, but we'll do it now instead of later. And then I got a manifold, and I got a high speed or high flow air filter. So we're going to take it out of the box. We're going to strip it down, talk about what we're going to do and the settings that we're going to do. And then we are going to put it on the bike, get it running, testing, and see how it goes. So let's come over to the bike and take a look at it and see what we got here. Okay, guys, so this is my 2019 MAUI X-Pro scooter. It's a 50cc scooter that used to be one of my brother's a long time ago, and then he gave it to me to fix up so he could take it to work. Then he kind of lost interest in it, and then he gave it to me to have, and I continued fixing it, and here it is as we see today. I was going to be doing a whole review on it, but like I said, we'll just do it right now since I already am doing a video. Of course, the guy would already start a lawnmower by then, but I'm gonna try to be a little louder so you can hear me. So basically what we did, this was a 50cc scooter. We have done something different, as you see down there. You see, we de-restricted it, got it all de-restricted, all those little hoses and air boxes gone, and the petcock and everything is gone, because we wanted to make this as free-flowing, as much power as we could get. So what did we do? Well, we got rid of all of the non-restrictive stuff, the stuff that was restrictive, and we de-restricted it and got everything in here. So not only did we do all this stuff, but we went internals. So this is a 90cc scooter. It's cammed out. It's got the cam. This is the whole top part here was from Rolling Wrench. This is a true 90cc big bore kit with the cams, the lifters, you name it. So
This is a true 90cc, so sometimes when you go online and you try to get it on eBay or Amazon, you try to get a true 90 or a true 100, sometimes you don't get what you... Sometimes you're getting a 90, you're not getting a true 100. This is a true 90 from Rolling Ridge, certified from Rolling Ridge. I talked to the guy, really great guy from Colorado. He knows his scooter stuff. He mostly works on ruckuses, but he does work on some QI MBC vehicles as well. So we got his 90cc rolling wrench motor, top part. The bottom part's still OEM, still original crank and everything like that. We didn't get as far as doing the crank. I don't think the crank would have done much of anything, but just maybe had more teeth down there. It wasn't really much of a seriously to go tearing the motor in half just to replace the crank. Maybe eventually on a hopped up more better motor, but this is just OEM. So that's probably the only thing that's OEM is the crank and the motor down below. But basically keep on moving forward. We got a new manifold on. We got this is our 38 millimeter carburetor. I believe it's a 38 millimeter. I always get sometimes confused. I'm sorry, not a 38. This is a 28 millimeter carburetor, and we are going down to a 24. So not too much, but I think this might be a little bit too much of a carburetor. So this is a 28 millimeter nib carburetor that we're going down to a 24. So we're stepping down just a little bit, maybe about eight displacements down, I guess you would say. I'm not really for sure if that's the right correct wording or not, but then we got the cold air intake on it. Then we got rid of the petcock and got ourselves a little turn feeder. So you just turn it and it gives you gas, turn it off and it doesn't give you gas. So we got it straight going into the motor, so there's no petcock, no vacuum line. It's giving it pressure to open it. It's straight flow. As soon as you turn this knob, you're getting all the gas. So we got that going. We got our CDI box on there, and the last thing that we installed was a tachometer, so that way we can do our tunings and stuff. I put on a phone holder for our phone for our GPS. We got our nib throttle and throttle cable, so the cable goes in, and this is our nib throttle cable for our slide pull, because the old one was the little turn one with the pulling cable. This is way more better, so it pulls up instead of turns inside, which I highly recommend doing. It's easier to work on. You don't have to worry about the cable adjustments and stuff. So one set, forget it. And then we went down internally. So inside here in the clutch, we got a stage 3 clutch. We got a upgraded variator with some upgraded roller weights. We got some 7 grand roller weights, I think, in there. We got a Kevlar belt in there as well. I need to check on that too, because it's been a while since I've checked. We've ridden this bike for a while. We had some issues with braking, but once I upgraded the variator and upgraded the clutch, no problems. Don't know what that was. Maybe it's just because it was just the OEM factory one wasn't very good for belts and they kept breaking. But once I upgraded this whole entire clutch system and transmission, it was pretty much good to go. And we do have a gear up in the back. We upgraded the gears teeth. So I think it was the bigger the gear. So basically top end will be a lot more higher. So we'll have a little bit of a slower takeoff, but our top end speed will be higher, because that's what we were trying to. We're trying to get this thing to go 50 plus miles an hour, which with me on it, we get to about like 51, 52 miles an hour, which is still really cool. I'm super happy with that. It's a really cool bike. It's still new. It still has only like 500 and some odd miles on it, so it's clean. It's still a brand new scooter. I think this is probably the most cleanest, newest scooter that's still around that's been upgraded. I try to keep my best to keep it clean. And we've done some custom work on this side. So we basically we upgraded. This is a little project I did. There was a guy on a forum that made his own ram air kit. So as you know, when the air goes by, it's going by the scooter, because this is air cooled. So you know, when the air is going by, it has to go under the bike to get to the fan. Well, I made myself a ram air. So as you see, it just goes right into the hole and goes straight forcing right into. So when I'm riding the bike, it's getting all that air going right into it. It still has the factory screen cover over this, because this is still the whole piece. So I just basically got some 4-inch U-shaped PVC pipe from from Ace Hardware. I got some hard plastic epoxy and put that on there, got it set where I wanted it, put it on there, gunked it up as much as I possibly could, let it dry, and then I painted it black just to make it fit all through. Then I painted this side just so that way you can see all that white. I was gonna cover it with like a little screen, but there's really a screen already in there, so if anything falls in, at least I can go grab it and get it if any, you know, screws or something comes in there. So that's what we did. And then finally, the very last thing we did is we got a exhaust. So we got a new exhaust because the old one's welds right here broke. So we got that off and we had to customize it. So we custom fit it. I got this little, had some piece of metal lying around. We made a custom fit holder and it's on there. So we are doing pretty good on this. The only thing that is still original that I have not done that I would like to do before everything is set in stone is I want to replace these springs with a more better riding spring. And then I want to upgrade the rear brakes with better brake pads. And then I want to upgrade the fronts with better brake pads. And I want to put in a ABS assist. So right here, they sell an ABS assist piece that'll go in between the caliper and the line, and you can make your adjustments to make it more, I guess, more better brake feel and stuff like that. Well, we'll keep these on, but I want to change the pads to better ones. If I can get some new ones, I'll get some new ones. And then maybe lastly, maybe upgrade the tires to some more better, stickier tires. These tires are good. They have no problem. They're the original tires that came on the bike. They still got a lot of life left, and I probably won't change them until they're ready, but eventually I like to change those and then go from there. So that's pretty much what the scooter is, and that's all that we have into it. I like taking the cover off to let it cool when I'm not riding or I'm done riding, because it does get pretty hot because it's air cooled. If it was liquid cooled, I'd keep it on there, but I like taking it off. Plus it makes it easier to tinker around with it while I'm not riding it. And it's really quite simple. Just take the lid, put it right back on, and then that's it. So I usually don't even bolt it down because it's really no point, because if I need to get up under there real quick, I can just pull it right off. And once you're sitting on and once it's in place, it doesn't come off. So I mean, I could put a couple of screws in just for quick holdings, but really and honestly, it doesn't go anywhere once the screws is down embedded, because the holes go down so flat. These are sticking up so far, that thing ain't go anywhere. And then when you're sitting on it, it's really not gonna matter. So that's it for the scooter. So if you guys have not seen the videos on that, please go check them out. I had a lot of people still comment on them, even though after I've done them all. This bike has come a long way from the videos that I've done. I just haven't done a review. After I did my last review, a lot of this tinkering stuff was done off camera. So if you guys like this, please give me a thumbs up, like and support it. And if you're just getting into your own scooter thing, you know, hopefully the videos will help you out. This has been a really cool scooter, but yeah, I really had some fun with it. So now we just gotta finish the last little piece, and that is trying to upgrade this carburetor to be a little bit more efficient with the gas, still have the power, still have the speed, but then just not smelling like raw gas after it's been ridden. So even if it smells just a little bit, a little bit is better than too much. So that's what we're going to be doing. So let's go inside and we'll talk about what we have for the new one, what we're going to add in an adjustment, because it is bare. So let's go inside and we'll talk about it. Okay guys, so we're inside at the table. I just wanted to tear it apart and kind of show you. So I pretty much already have it off in pieces already. It's really quite simple. I was trying to tinkering with it, kind of see what they had so I could see what I need to upgrade to. So really right now, I'll just explain. So I know you've probably seen the carburetor a bunch of times, but so when we first got the carburetor, we are at a 24. So as you see, the main jet is actually at a 105, and then the pilot jet's at a 40. So the the pilot jet is this one right here. Is this right here? So this one was a 40, and then this is your main jet, and that's a 105. So it comes with other jets, but these jets are lower than the ones that's already in there. They're actually a little lower. Like I believe the pilot jet, that other one was like a 35 compared to this 40, and then this 105 is the highest, where these are like a what was it, 95, 100, and 102 and 102. We're not going down that road. We're gonna go bigger. So what we're going to do is we are going to go with the pilot jet. We're gonna go to a 45. Since this is already 40, might as well go up to a 45 and just max it out. Because we don't want that bog sitting at idle. We want to be able to have all that power that we need with no bogging. And that'll come with the adjustments, but we're gonna go with a bigger jet just to start off with. And then in here, it started at a 105. So it goes from a 105 to a 150. So we're gonna try to go in the middle, which is about a 125. So it's from 105 to 150 is 19. So splitting the two between 105 and 150 stops us right in the middle at a 125. So that's where we're gonna go to. We're gonna go to a 125 on the main jet. We'll start with that as a good base. And then if we need to add more, we got, you know, as you see, we got plenty of room to go to. We can go to a 150. So we'll start with a 125. I feel like that's a good minimum base tune for this carburetor, because we still got to tune it, and it's always going to be tunable, because you have to tune it for cold weather, tune it for hot weather. I feel like sometimes if you ride it in the wintertime, if you kind of leave it where it is, it's kind of fine. I've noticed that. It's a little bit colder, so you may have to give it a little bit more fuel, which is probably one of the reasons why it smells like gas. But it was doing that in the summertime too. So it was just both. But I think it's just because it was just way too high, because we had a 28, which is right here. That's what's in the bike now, and it doesn't have the 40. I think it's bigger than a 40 with the pilot. I think it's like a 50. And then I think with the main jet, I think we've gone up to maybe a 145, maybe 148. I don't think we didn't max. We tried maxing out to a 150 on the 28, and it bogged. So I think we're at like a 145, maybe a 148, or maybe even a 140 for the main. So we're not too far away with the 125. I think that's a good base for this one. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to do that. And then we also have a needle in here with a little setting, which is actually this piece right here, this needle setting. So you got it from 1 to 5, with 3 being the neutral in the middle. We're going to leave it at the 3. I think some videos I've seen people, they go at least to the 4, going a little leaner. But we're gonna try just with what we got. We're gonna stay with the 3. We're gonna go to a 45, and then we're going to we're gonna go to a 45 here, and then we're gonna go to a 125 on there, and then we'll start that out, and then we'll we also have to make our adjustments with these little knobs here. So they're set wherever they're at right now, but we need to set them so that way we can get the right set tune. We could set it right now, but I think what we're going to do is we're going to see where it's at as it sits, and then we'll adjust it going that way. Whether turn it up, turn it down. Some people go in a few turns and do a few turns out. We could do that, which is probably a good idea, instead of leaving it where the set tune is. So we'll do that. So let's get changed and set up, and then we'll come right back. Okay, guys, so we're back. So we have our 125. I don't know if it'll show. There it is right there. Here's our 125 that we're going to stick in. And here is our 45 that we're going to be using right there. So what we're going to do, we're going to stick this in. Try this one-handed, see if this actually will work. All right, we're going to put this in one-handed. We're going to put in our pilot screw. You don't have to tighten it. Then we're going to put in our main jet. So we're going to start with this first base of a 125 and a 45, just to get a good start. It may be a little too much, not enough, because you know we got bigger cams, and we got a bigger displacement. We got performance exhaust. all that stuff. So it probably will be a little bit not enough, and we'll have to go up. But this is a good start base, and then if we need to go up, we can go up just a little bit, a little at a time. So we'll start with that first. Oh, upside down. We'll start with that first. And then we'll go from there. Sorry about that. Just dropped my camera. Try to do this one-handed. So, but yeah, so we're going to go ahead and get this lid and stuff back on. I'm going to need both hands for this, I think. Oh, let's give it a try. Yeah, I'm going to need both hands. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and get this all set. We actually have this adjustment here. We've already got this. This is kind of set already. So what we're going to do is we're going to just see what it does with where it's sitting at now, and we'll make our adjustments on the bike. I feel like that'll be a lot more easier because we can play with it. If it dies, we could turn it, we could turn it up, turn it back down, get ourselves set, and then we'll adjust it on the fly. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to leave the settings where they're at, and then we'll make our adjustments while the vehicle is running. So let us get this all back together, and let's get this all started up and see what we can do. All right, guys, so we're going to go ahead and get this out. Update. I know we just talked about changing this, but I actually changed the pilot jet, the little long one. I changed the pilot jet to a 52. I forgot I saw a video on a guy that has the same carburetor, the same 24, and he had changed his. So he did the same thing. He put a 125 main jet, and then he did a 152 pilot, and then he adjusted, and he said he had all the power. So granted, it was on a different bike. It had a little bit more CCs, but we're gonna try that because we want to be able to get this some power. And if it's too much, then we can come down. But the 125, I think it's a good starting. But with a pilot, since the pilot's more of an idle kind of jet, when it's sitting in idle, maybe about a quarter of throttle, then after that, it's all main. We're just gonna go with a 52. If 52 is too big, then we'll step down. At least we know that where we go a little high and then go low instead of go from low to high. Because I feel like if we go from low to high, we're stepping. But if we go from high to low, we know, okay, 52 is too much. Let's go down to a 48 or a 50. And then we kind of go right that. So that's just like giving a heads up. So right now what we're gonna do is we're gonna pull off this gas line here. It should be no gas in it, hopefully. It's been a while since I've had it on there, so let's see, can you guys see that? No, yeah. So alright, we're gonna pull this gas line. Oop, there was some gas in here. No big deal, it happens. Alright. So now what we're gonna do, take off this. Actually, we're gonna do a bunch of stuff first. I'm gonna pull this cabling out. We'll put that to the side. We'll take that off in a sec. Not a problem there. I'm gonna go ahead and get this off. Alright, that's off. We're gonna set this to the side. So I'll be right back. Okay guys, so we're back. So I got that off. So now I'm gonna get this manifold off. It's a 10 millimeter. Get that going. Alright. These off and get these screws so try not to lose them. Alright, once we pull it up. Alright, there's the old one. There's a new one here. Alright, so we got a new one, smaller one, because it wouldn't actually fit. The older one wouldn't fit, so we gotta get all new stuff. Alright. So we got our new manifold here. I'm going to plug this up, just that right there. That'll stay on. We're going to test it, make sure this goes on right. It should. Yep. Okay. Take our O-ring, put it right in these holes here. It'll sandwich itself in there. So we've got the O-ring in there. I'm going to put it down in here. Alright. Get our screws on. Tighten these back up. Click. All right. Put our little thing on. So. Make sure it's nice and flush. Take our Phillips. Just tighten it up. Nice and seal on that. Then we will take out our new air filter. Brand new one. Our new air filter. Make sure it fits on our thing here, which it does. A little big, but alright. Let me get this tightened on and we will be right back. Alright guys, we are back. Finally got it fitted. I didn't realize this wasn't going to fit, but it actually does fit. Just snug it up really good and it fits. So I make sure it gets a nice good seal on there, and then it's actually snug. So now we'll get the crap together. All right, so now we're gonna put this on here. We're gonna put a piece in here first. Make this a little bigger. Oh, wrong size. There we go. Just gonna tighten up just a little bit. Snug it up. Alright, so now get this line, stick it down, get this in the hole, and then we go ahead and cinch everything up. There we go. Here, getting somewhere. Now we can tighten this up. Now we got it in the right position. All right, now we'll do the lines. We'll sleeve out. We'll take our other one. We'll get it in a second. Line, lift, and then you can slowly separate. Like so. Okay. All right. So now we got that good. Now we're going to take this and pull it out. Let's pull the line out. Set that to the side. Grab our new line. Stick it right back in the hole. A nice good seal. We're going to go through the whole spill just like we did with the other one. Get our spring. Get our spring. Grommet piece, like so, and then stick it down the hole, like so, and then stick it down the hole here, push down, tighten it up, take our gas line, and voila! A little wiggly, so we may have to get a zip tie. Probably gonna have to change the gas line because this gas line's for the bigger one. So now that this is a little smaller of a gas port, it might not cinch up too good. So we'll have to keep that in mind. We may have to change these lines out to a smaller one, which is fine. So right now we're just gonna zip tie it. Hopefully it'll hold for the time being. And just because of that, we're gonna give it test and see the leak test. And yeah, it's leaking. Okay. All right, so we're gonna have to change the lines out because this is gonna be a big mess if we don't. So back out again. I was afraid of that. Didn't think about that. So we'll just have to get a new line. Clean this up. All right, let's go get a new line, and hopefully, if not, we may have to go to the parts store. So hold on a sec. Okay, guys, so we have to stop because we have to go to the parts store. We have to get a T-junction because I forgot that 28 millimeter carburetor is fuel line is bigger than the 24. It's just a little shy of being big. So we're gonna have to go to the store and maybe find a T-tap, like a big T going into a small one, so we don't have to change that line in case we ever happen to go back to the 28 millimeter. Because if we do that, then we're replacing the whole entire fuel line to a smaller one. And then if we end up going and want to go back to the 28, we got to replace the line again. So if we get a T-tap, like a
big T going into a little small T, then that will probably work. So let us go to the parts store and see if we can find a T-tap to make this work, and then we should be able to start this thing. So let's go to the parts store. All right, guys, so we're back from the auto parts store. We got some of these assortment little pieces, so that way we can butt up together our little wires, so our little hoses. So this hose is gonna go into the new carburetor, where this is the same hose for the one I originally have. It's gonna go right here. It's gonna slide right in, and then we should be good. Get you kind of right there. All right, so let us go ahead and get into this. So I'm gonna pop off the old line. It'll come off. There it comes. All right, set that to the side, and now we can piece together our pieces. So I'm just gonna take this. Hopefully this fits. And then boom, now our lines are together and we don't have to worry about, because the reason why I want to just change this is because this line goes all the way through and all the way to the tank, but then I would just change it from the filter to the line here. But if I ever wanted to go back to the 28 millimeter, which is over here, this 28 millimeter, then I'd have to change these lines and change these filters, and these are bigger lines than this would ever be. So this works out way more better. So now we gotta do now is just get this up under. We're gonna trim it just a little bit. Just trim it really short and then stick it in there. So let me go get my cutters. Alright, so now we're just going to cut it short, just a little bit, nothing crazy because it's not that far down. Have it go there, save those lines, and then just get that in there, and then we should be good. Alright, we're on. Now we're going to do a leak check. So we're going to go ahead and fill this up. Alright, we're good. Alright, so now the fuel is in there. Now, what we got to do is pull this out, start it, and see if we can tune it. So let's roll this out and see if we can get this thing started. Alright, let's get this thing started. Since it's a new carburetor, so we can get to everything. Alright, so we got the choke pulled. Start. Here we go. Wow, that's quiet. A lot more quieter than I thought. So this is the bass tune that we have. This is the bass tune that came with the scooter. So we didn't touch the tune. We left it as it was and just got everything bolted, and it's idling quite well, surprisingly. I noticed it's a little quieter than the bigger one. The bigger one seemed to make the bike sound a lot louder. This is actually a lot more quieter. So it still needs a little bit of a tune, but wait for it to get warmed up a little bit, and then we'll go from there. So we'll come back when it's warmed up. Okay guys, so we're back. It's still running warm. It's kind of warmed up now, so we're gonna go ahead and try and tweak this a little bit, see if we can get some better sounding flows out of it.
Right now we're at about 12,000 RPMs, 1,300 or 1,200 to 1230. So turn it down just a little bit. See if we can get it to right about 1,000. It's actually pretty good. Right now it's about, here I'll show you. Right now we're about 1230 to about, it was down to about like 1080, but I think it's because this is not very secure. I mean, it's secure in there now, but it's not as secure as the other one. The other one was way more better secured, the 48. So I'm not quite for sure why this one's not super secure. I mean, it's still a little gassy. It still has a gassy smell, but it's more exhaust gas than gas. So we still gotta tweak it a little bit, but it's running smooth. Like even with the throttle, like look. It does seem to come back down. So we're gonna go ahead and ride it around and see what it does. So let me get my seat on and we'll go take it for a spin and I'll come back with the results. Okay guys, so we're back. I don't know if I like this carburetor. I think it's a little too small. I think this bike's gotten used to the the bigger carburetor. So I'm going to switch this back and see if there's a difference, because I feel like this isn't it. I don't like it. It's too small. It seems like it's struggling more with the smaller carburetor, where it gotten used to the bigger carburetor with the bigger fuel and all that stuff like that. So I'm going to switch this out and switch this back to my original one and see if there's a bigger difference. There is a little bit of smoke coming off of the exhaust because it's new, so it'll have to get broken into a little bit more. So it's just gonna have that burning smell. It has a burning smell because it's new, hasn't had too many miles. It actually has 0 miles. So this is probably the longest I've ever had it, let alone riding it. So we're going to change this back and go from there. So let's change this back to the original one and see what it does. Okay guys, so we're back. We switched it back to the original carburetor. We're gonna see if this is gonna work. Let me put it down. We're gonna go back and see if this works. We're just gonna get it going. So let's see how it does. This bike seems to like the bigger carburetor. I don't know what to say. It likes it bigger. And it makes a lot more noise when it's bigger. So we're back about 960 RPMs. Didn't do any tweaking to this. I just kept it where it was. So it seems to like it way more better. Way more better. I don't know what to say, guys. Alright guys, so we're back. We finally got this thing back to running where it was. Running fast, top of speed as ever. It does not seem to like that 24. Maybe because it's used to 28, which is not that far off. It's a few steps down. So it likes the 28. It does not like the 24. So 24 seems to be, I guess, too small for it because I guess the bigger pistons and whatnot. But be that as it may, I know everybody says that carburetor is way too big. It's not that much more bigger. I mean, it's a 20. This is a 28. That was a 24. It's not that much more bigger. But it seems to like this carburetor because it's dialed in a little bit more better. Maybe it's got the jets better. I'm assuming that's the case. But whatever it is, it likes it. And me changing it kind of made it kind of funky a little bit because I'm stepping down. So it's like you had a turbo or supercharger, then you took it out and just kept it all motor, something like that. So it likes it. It's a lot louder. I noticed that with the bigger carburetor, it is a little louder, where the smaller carburetor was a little smaller. Could have been some more tuning into it. Maybe you could have just changed the jets up to a little bit bigger jet, which is probably possible. That could be the case. It could be just the fact that I have a 115 main with a a 52 Pilot. So it was fine with the Pilot. Maybe a bit rich. Maybe I could have gone back to a 50 or 48, because really, honestly, the Pilot's just more for idle. But the 115, maybe that's a little too small. Maybe need to go a little bit bigger. Well, actually, I'm sorry, not 115. We have a 125 in the 24. So I don't know what it was, but it did not like the 124 main. And maybe it was just the tuning, but I tuned it as best I could get it, and it was purring like a kitten, really quiet. But then once you get on it, it just did not have enough power to boost that thing. It moved, but it just seemed like it was gonna blow it up because it wasn't enough. It was starving for that power, that fuel that this one was actually giving, because this is bigger lines, bigger mouth, bigger opening. Maybe it just likes that big dump, where the other one, 24, is a little smaller and a little smaller fuel line. Maybe that could be it. I'm not for sure, but whatever it is, it does not like it. It likes this one. So we're going to leave it. I got it tuned back. I didn't have to make too much tuning. Just had to adjust it a little bit because it is cold. So it is a little high. So I turned it down just a little bit, and it seems to be fine. So we're going to leave it where it is. And one of the reasons why we are leaving it is because we're gonna move on with what we have. We're gonna maybe try to get the shocks and struts. Maybe we'll maybe do a little bit more tuning. Maybe get a better spark plug in there or something like that. Because, all right, guys, so we're sitting down. I'm sorry, I had to close the door. It was getting cold, and the cars were driving by, and it was making it kind of hard to hear. So we are planning on selling that. I want to get a bigger scooter, as I mentioned. I want to get a bigger scooter, something a little bit more of an adulta kind of scooter. Something I could take on the highway, that's highway rated, kind of a scooter like a Z-Max. I was looking at a Ice Bear, was a T9 before. I've had my run-in with a couple of those. One guy didn't have a title, which I do not recommend dealing with anybody who does not have a title. It's just, if you want it to be legit, it's harder because now you're riding kind of illegal. Especially if you're trying to sell it, because someone could come back and say, hey, he stole my bike, and then now you're riding around on a stolen bike. So it's just better to have clean title, or someone who has a title, and everything like that. So that's just my 2 cents. You don't have to do that. That's just me, because I've had a bad run-in with it, so I just don't want to deal with it. I have a couple of potentials, but in order for me to get that bike, I have to get rid of this one. So, because I'm using the money to get it, and then I'm trying to save and trying to do that. So selling this would help me boost it faster, and then hopefully I can get a bike. I got a couple of guys I've made some deals with that will be selling it to me for a little bit of a cheaper price, but I have to sell this bike first in order to do it, unless I save up enough money to get it, and then I can just sell that second. So I am going to throw it out there. I am going to throw it on Facebook and see if people will buy it. Like I said, it's a really good scooter. It's low miles. It's practically still brand new. Everything runs, and it'll get you where you need to get from point A to point B. It's got all of the good upgrades in it. I like it, but I want something bigger. I want to be able to take it on the highway and take it to work
and take it around town, and I want it to be liquid cooled and even possibly fuel injected if it happens to have that. But carbureted's fine. I don't mind it. It's still nice to tinker with. And I'm not really particular on the model. As long as it fits me and it's a big scooter. I'd rather it be, you know, a highway scooter that's hopefully liquid cooled, so that would keep the motor cool. And then if it's carbureted, that's fine. If it's fuel injected, that's fine. I'm not really worried about it. But I'm gonna look around local area. Most of the really good ones, the ones that's like really good prices, it's all the way in like Pennsylvania, Delaware, New York, you know, Philadelphia, all those areas up there, New Jersey, all those areas up there, Delaware, Maryland, all those anywhere from Maryland up, that's where all the good scooters are at. That's where all the good prices, that's where all the cheaper scooters are at. Everybody has them up north. So everyone down here, they have them, but it's not a big pot, and it's more expensive. So much for watching. You guys have a good and blessed day, and I'll see you guys on the next fix. Until then, peace.